Guys, November will be quite jam-packed in terms of economic data outcomes that you can look forward to. First up will be the medium-term budget policy statement, the MTBPS, which is basically just an update on public finances, especially following Budget 3.0. Where are we in terms of revenues, spending? Well, at least the government has been trying to do a lot here in terms of fiscal consolidation, right? We've seen revenues mobilization, that is, picking up some wins in this financial year, or this fiscal year rather. So SARS is pulling its muscles, so we look forward to the final numbers that will be tabled or that will be presented at the MTBPS. We'll also hear how government has been trying to rein in their spending. Hopefully from budget deficit point of view, we may actually get positive news, or at least government may be surprised to the positive side there. We'll also hear how issuance is going in terms of borrowing. Is government winning in terms of cheapening its borrowing costs? Obviously, there are already some wins that can be expected here, especially if government is fully on board in terms of the lower inflation target. That could be something that supports borrowing costs going forward. We also know that this week we were removed from the Financial Action Task Force grey list, so maybe that is something that also helps out a little bit in terms of borrowing costs, not only for government but for the broader economy. And I think also what we see from the bond space, that there's been quite a lot of participation from foreign investors. So maybe that's something that also has supported government in terms of jigging its financial strategy there, or financing strategy rather. So we look forward to the MTBP and to see exactly those updates that government will be giving us. Then we also will be hearing from Standard & Poor in terms of its ratings for South Africa. We don't expect a change yet there, but we think a change is imminent. We will move to a positive outlook. So I think that speaks to South Africa being on the bend of a ratings upgrade. But whether it happens this time around, we will have to see. I think when it comes to growth, unfortunately, South Africa has just not been getting the kind of growth that would push us in the right direction. Not yet, at least, but the reform agenda is something to look forward to. And the rating agencies did mention that they're monitoring the reform agenda, as well as the wins that we may see already coming through in GDP outcomes. But then I think that is something that may, at least maybe 2026, we might start to see a little bit more positive outcomes there. Unfortunately, 2025 growth has not been very, very strong. And then we also know that the rating agency will be looking at the strength of our institutions, governance, and obviously the reform agenda is meant to get us a few more wins there. So hopefully, the ratings upgrade is something that is on the horizon. Then last in November, which is something that happens every 2 months, we'll be hearing from the MP. The Monetary Policy Committee will be announcing its latest on the interest rates. We don't expect a change just yet, but as we said, lower inflation over the longer term will bring us lower interest rates. So lower interest rates are coming. We just don't think November will be quite the month yet. I think the Reserve Bank still wants to do a little bit of work in terms of guiding inflation expectations lower, obviously getting fiscal policy on board. So we think that might be something that we look forward to maybe towards the end of 2026, maybe even earlier if things work out positively for South Africa. But November will still be a good highlight for us to hear from what the MP in terms of their thinking on monetary policy.